Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No!
What if everything we thought we knew about Meghan Markle was just a story, a crafted image, a carefully assembled puzzle of royal glam, humanitarian causes, and picture-perfect speeches? But what happens when old photos resurface and they don't fit the narrative? What if behind the Duchess, behind the camera flashes and Vogue spreads, there's another version of Meghan, one that's been quietly wiped from the internet? Buckle up, because this isn't just about one photo. It's about the entire mythos unraveling in real time. The joke that shattered the illusion.
Elon built electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
And it all began with what seemed like an ordinary comedy segment, a weekend update sketch, some quick jabs, and a punchline aimed at Meghan Markle. We'll take her back, only if she deletes her entire Instagram again. The audience laughed, but this wasn't just about humor, it was a cultural moment. The kind of moment where the line between satire and truth blurs, and people recognize something they've been quietly thinking all along. The laughter was loud, but the meaning behind it was louder. That simple joke cracked the polished surface Meghan has spent years building. It reminded viewers that while she may have redefined herself as a global humanitarian and royal disruptor, the world hadn't forgotten the previous version of her, and more importantly, they had questions that still hadn't been answered. The timing couldn't have been worse. With Meghan rebranding her public image once again, this sudden spotlight on her past didn't just shake up social media, it reopened a vault of old footage, former friends, missing images, and carefully curated memories. The joke may have lasted 5 seconds, but its ripple effect sent waves across every major platform. Suddenly, it wasn't just critics digging up the past. It was casual viewers, long-time supporters, and even neutral observers now paying attention. The idea that a simple comedy sketch could reveal the fragility of such a tightly controlled narrative, that's the kind of cultural shift that doesn't fade overnight. The yacht photo that broke the internet. What pushed things over the edge was an image, not a press release. Not a scandalous article, just a photo. It began circulating again online like digital wildfire. A woman, sun-kissed, stylish, seated confidently aboard a luxury yacht in the Mediterranean, became the center of attention. She wasn't named in the image. There was no caption linking her to Meghan Markle, but the resemblance was strong, uncannily strong. At first, it felt like just another speculative post, but then came the comparisons. Internet users began pointing out specific earrings, sunglasses that matched her early fashion choices, even details like posture and nail color. Some recognized individuals in the background, familiar names, familiar faces, from circles that connected directly to Meghan's early days in the entertainment industry. This wasn't a blurry paparazzi shot. It was a high-quality capture from what looked like an exclusive gathering, one filled with influencers, executives, and elite personalities. And the question quickly became, what was she doing there? For someone who had publicly spoken about the struggles of being a working actress, this photo didn't exactly tell the same story. It suggested access, influence, proximity to power. The more people zoomed in, the more details emerged. Glasses from a luxury brand that hadn't yet gone mainstream in 2010. Background figures known to host private investment events. The location itself matched to other high-profile parties from that year. Individually, each clue might seem weak, but together they formed something stronger, a trail. And perhaps the most damning detail wasn't even in the image, it was what happened after. The photo, once difficult to find, had been quietly removed from several online archives. Reverse image searches came up empty in places where it used to appear. And that silence, that quiet deletion, didn't erase the suspicion, it amplified it. Behind the gowns, a strategic climb.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
Meghan's public image has always been about resilience. A woman who rose from humble beginnings to the heights of royalty. But now, with resurfaced images and vanishing records, a different narrative is starting to take shape. One that looks less like chance and more like strategy. Critics argue her climb wasn't just through talent, it was through carefully placed connections. From low-key industry mixers to elite yacht parties, Meghan's presence in high-powered circles years before her royal connection has become a point of curiosity. How did a then mid-level actress end up at events with billionaires and political influencers? It's not about scandal, it's about access, and how she seemed to have it when others didn't. That photo from the yacht doesn't look accidental, looks like part of a bigger, calculated trajectory. And that's what's raising eyebrows. Not the image itself, but how neatly it fits into a much larger story. The internet detectives take over. This time, it's not the tabloids chasing the story, it's the internet. Online communities are doing what traditional media won't.
Racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism.
They're connecting the dots, timestamps, guest lists, archived tweets, and digital breadcrumbs that had quietly gone unnoticed for years. Facial comparison tools are being used to match old photos. Yacht logs are being dug up. Even location tags from luxury events are under scrutiny. And these aren't random guesses. This is crowdsourced investigation fueled by tech-savvy viewers with time and a mission. What's emerging isn't one shocking revelation. It's a consistent timeline. The more people dig, the more polished the puzzle starts to look.
Once at a gig, the back was Harry and William, Madonna and Paul McCartney. Not one of them paid.
And in that silence from Meghan's side, the internet is filling in the blanks. Not out of malice, but out of growing suspicion that the real story was never told. The loudest sound is silence. What truly stunned observers wasn't the photo. It was Meghan's silence. For someone who has always been quick to correct the record, launch lawsuits, or post carefully worded responses, her complete lack of reaction to this situation speaks volumes. She's battled media outlets over much smaller claims, but this time, no post, no statement, no denial, just silence. And in today's fast-moving world of digital conversation, silence isn't seen as grace. It's seen as avoidance. That absence creates a vacuum, and the internet rushes to fill it. The lack of clarity, the missing voice, all make the story feel more real to those already skeptical. Meghan's silence, whether strategic or accidental, is now being interpreted as the most telling response of all. The vanishing digital trail. As interest grew, something else started to stand out. What was missing? Old photos gone. Former friends no longer tagging her. Interviews where her name once came up, now edited or removed. Wasn't just a few posts. It looked like a digital purge. People who once proudly mentioned her in the past are now quiet. Some accounts have been wiped clean. Others, locked down completely, and many believe it's not coincidence. It's intentional. The theory is that this wasn't just personal rebranding. It was digital damage control, quiet, precise, and wide-reaching. But in 2025, deleting your past doesn't erase it. It draws attention to it, and the more people noticed what had disappeared, the more suspicious they became. That one yacht photo everyone's talking about. Among all the resurfaced material, one image has become the symbol of this entire unraveling. A high-quality shot of a woman, strikingly similar to Meghan, sitting on a luxury yacht surrounded by wealthy elites. Nothing scandalous is happening. No one is doing anything wrong, but it's the context that's igniting the firestorm. The timing of the photo lines up too well with the years just before Meghan's royal chapter. The people in the frame aren't random. Many are connected to industries Meghan later aligned with. Fashion, media, even philanthropy. This isn't just a party snapshot. It feels like a missing piece of the puzzle. And the most suspicious part? That this photo, along with others from that same event, seemed to vanish for years, only to quietly reappear now. That kind of digital disappearance doesn't happen by accident. And for a public figure who claims full transparency, it's the kind of mystery that demands explanation. Patterns, not proof. The bigger concern. There's no single piece of evidence blowing the story open. It's the pattern. A steady string of deleted content, missing names, edited mentions, and strategic silence. No dramatic confession, no smoking gun. But everything seems just too neat. People don't expect a flawless past. What they want is honesty. And the issue now isn't that Meghan had a life before royalty. It's that so much of it appears to have been erased. carefully, quietly, and in plain sight. When that kind of selective visibility becomes obvious, it shifts the focus. It's no longer about a single event or photo. It's about a growing belief that the public was only shown the version of Meghan that fit the narrative. And when viewers start spotting those gaps, that's when trust begins to slip, a cultural shift in real time.
Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
This story isn't just bouncing around forums anymore, it's crossing into the mainstream. Late-night shows are cracking jokes. News outlets are using phrases like digital cleanup and unanswered questions. Even platforms that once supported Meghan's narrative are now asking what she's not saying. That shift matters because once a public figure becomes a punchline, it's no longer about criticism, it's about cultural perception. The silence, the deleted history, the resurfaced images, they've all combined into a story too big to ignore. What started as internet chatter has become a serious conversation, not about scandal, but about credibility. And when media, comedy, and public sentiment all turn in the same direction, it signals something deeper. The audience no longer sees the person, they see the brand. And they're beginning to question how much of that brand was ever real. Image versus reality, and the fallout begins. This isn't about one mistake or one hidden photo, it's about what people now believe was an image built to perfection and guarded at all costs. Meghan's brand stood for authenticity, for vulnerability, for breaking royal tradition. But now, every carefully curated post and tightly managed interview feels manufactured. The problem isn't the past, it's pretending it didn't exist. When someone builds an identity on openness, but avoids addressing glaring gaps in their history, that creates mistrust. And in today's culture, mistrust spreads fast. What's unraveling now isn't just Meghan's public image, it's the foundation beneath it. The yacht photos, the vanishing digital trail, the sudden silence, they're not just clues, they're turning points. And unless those questions are addressed head-on, this won't just be a temporary controversy, it'll be a permanent shift in how the world sees her. In the end, this story was never just about a yacht. It was about the unraveling of a narrative. A public figure who rose on a promise of authenticity now faces a wave of questions. Not because she had a past, but because she tried to erase it. The silence? It's louder than any denial. The deleted posts? They say more than any statement ever could. And the resurfaced images? They're no longer just old memories. They're evidence of a version of Meghan that doesn't match the one we were sold. This isn't just about Meghan Markle anymore. It's about what happens when the image no longer matches the reality, when the public starts to see the gaps, when the story starts to collapse under its own weight. Because once trust is broken, once the curtain is pulled back, it's nearly impossible to put it all back together. And maybe that's the real story unfolding right now. Comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the spotlight. We're just getting started.